The Unexpected Tradition. As I sat in our cozy living room, sipping wine with my fiancée Sophia, I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The warm glow of the evening sun cast a golden light on her face, but her serious expression made my heart skip a beat. We were just a week away from our wedding, and I thought I knew her and her family inside and out. But then she dropped a bombshell that would change everything. "Henry, there's something I need to tell you," Sophia said, her voice trembling slightly, like the delicate petals of a flower in the wind. "It's a family tradition, and I know it may seem strange to you, but it's something that we've done for generations." I raised an eyebrow, intrigued, and my curiosity was piqued. "What is it?" I asked, trying to keep my tone light but my mind racing with possibilities. Sophia took a deep breath before speaking, her eyes locked on mine, searching for a reaction. "When a man marries into our family, he is expected to spend the night with my mother before the wedding." I felt like I'd been punched in the gut, my breath knocked out of me. "What? Why?" I stuttered, trying to process what I had just heard. The room seemed to spin around me, and I felt like I was trapped in a nightmare. Sophia explained that it was a way of welcoming the new husband into the family, and that it was a tradition that had been passed down through generations. I was shocked, and I didn't know how to react. I had always thought that I was a liberal and open-minded person, but this was something that I had never even considered. A wave of unease washed over me, and I felt like I was drowning in a sea of uncertainty. I tried to reason with Sophia, explaining that I didn't feel comfortable with the idea and that I thought it was unfair to expect me to do something that went against my values. But Sophia was insistent, her voice firm but gentle, like a summer breeze on a hot day. She told me that if I didn't agree to do it, then she wouldn't marry me. I was torn, my heart and mind at war with each other. On the one hand, I loved Sophia and I didn't want to lose her. On the other hand, I couldn't shake the feeling that this tradition was wrong and that it would be a betrayal of my own values and principles. I felt like I was trapped in a web of conflicting emotions and I didn't know how to escape. I decided to seek out some advice and I turned to Sophia's father, Michael, for guidance. We met at a coffee shop, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filling the air, and I explained my concerns to him. Michael listened patiently, his eyes filled with understanding, and then he told me that he had gone through the same thing when he married Rachel. "It's not easy, I know," he said, his voice low and soothing, "but it's a tradition that has been passed down through our family for generations, and it's not just about the physical act itself, it's about the bond that it creates between the husband and the mother-in-law." I was still unsure, my mind racing with doubts and fears. But Michael's words gave me something to think about. I realized that I had to make a decision, and that I couldn't just sit on the fence forever. The weight of the tradition hung over me like a sword of Damocles, and I knew that I had to make a choice. And so, I made my decision. I agreed to spend the night with Rachel, and I tried to prepare myself for what was to come. But little did I know, the night would be just the beginning of a journey that would change me forever. The night itself was awkward, to say the least. Rachel was a kind and gentle woman, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was doing something wrong. We talked and laughed, and we tried to make the best of a difficult situation, but I couldn't help feeling like I was betraying Sophia and that I was compromising my own values. The next morning, I felt a mix of emotions. I was relieved that it was over, but I was also feeling guilty and ashamed. I knew that I had to talk to Sophia, and I had to be honest with her about how I was feeling. But when I saw Sophia, she was beaming with happiness. "I knew you could do it," she said, throwing her arms around me. "I'm so proud of you." I was taken aback. I had expected her to be understanding, but I hadn't expected her to be so enthusiastic. "Sophia, I have to be honest with you," I said. "I didn't feel comfortable with what happened last night. I feel like I betrayed you, and I compromised my own values." Sophia looked at me with surprise, and then she started to laugh. "Oh, Henry," she said, "you're so silly. You think that you betrayed me? You think that you compromised your values?" I nodded, feeling a little defensive. "Yes, I do," I said. Sophia smiled, and she took my hand. "Henry, I love you," she said, "and I know that you love me. But you have to understand this is just a tradition. It's not about you and me, it's about our families and our heritage." I looked at her, and I saw the sincerity in her eyes. I realized that I had been looking at things from the wrong perspective. I had been so focused on my own feelings and values that I had forgotten about Sophia's family and legacy. I realized that the tradition was not about us, but about our family and our future together. I took Sophia into my arms and kissed her. "I love you," I said, "and I'm willing to do anything to be with you." Sophia smiled and kissed me back. "I love you too," she said, "and I know we'll be happy together." We were married the next day, and our marriage was full of love and happiness. I never forgot the tradition, but I realized it was part of our family and our heritage. Years later, when we had our daughter, I realized that the tradition would continue. But this time, I was ready, and I knew I would do everything I could to be a good father and husband. Sophia and I's story has become part of our family, and we will always remember the tradition that bound us together.